Mayor, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for July 18th, 2013 to order at 8 o'clock p.m. On roll call, Council members Catamagna.
Here.
Castiglia.
Here.
Comboy.
Here.
Pedagano.
Here.
Boncino.
Here.
Councilmember Coletti is on vacation and is absent. Mayor Mola.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Will everyone please rise for a prayer and flag salute? O God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting with your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts, and implant therein a keen sense of justice and the greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness to our community. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws State of New Jersey requires the commencement of every meeting a statement by the presiding officer, now therefore be advised the meeting requirements of this meeting have been met by publishing an annual notice in the Regular Hackensack, the Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 1, 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is going to be televised on cable channel 77. It will be on Tuesday at noon. It'll be on Thursday at 4 p.m. and it'll be on Friday at 11 a.m. or you can get it on our own website. Okay, I do want to make this announcement. We only have half the power. Our electricity in the building here in this council chamber is only partially on. The air conditioning is not on. We do have some councilmen here who don't come from the old school where they keep a jacket on at all times, regardless of the heat.
Just too old for mine now.
Just giggling, so if I collapse, you guys help me out. It's not that warm yet, and they're working on the air conditioning, so hopefully before the meeting is over, we'll get that. Thank you, Mr. Kazmar.
Mayor, this evening, under the approval of minutes, we have the June 20th, 2013 regular meeting.
Motion, please, to accept.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Castiglia and Mr. Boncino. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Catamagna.
Yes.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Comboy.
My iPad's acting strange. I think I have to abstain. I don't think we were at that meeting,
June 20th.
right?
When I was out, I should have stayed.
I think all three of us were out, right? Me, you, and
No, only two of us.
Oh, wait, maybe I was here.
No, you were out.
Was it our turn to watch it?
Yeah, I think I was out. Wasn't I out?
You were out.
anyway.
The two of us were out.
Yeah, I have to
Okay.
abstain.
I'll repeat the roll call.
Okay.
This is for the June 20th, 2013 regular meeting. Council members Catamagna.
Abstain.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Comboy.
Abstain.
Pedagano.
Yes.
Boncino.
Yes.
And Councilmember Coletti is absent. Motion carries. Mayor, this evening under ordinances on first reading, we have Resolution 235-13, introduce ordinance 13-20 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to authorize the acquisition of an easement in Block 1407, Lot 9, address 357 Market Street, in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park, in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $86,500 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, and to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 15th, 2013 at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Boncino, second. Pedagano, any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, Councilmembers Catamagna.
Yes.
Castiglia.
Yes.
Comboy.
Yes.
Pedagano.
Yes.
Boncino.
Yes.
Coletti is absent. Motion carries.
And just for the information here, when you think you're getting something for nothing, this is an intersection that the county is going to be helping us, or going to be putting in, but we have to pay for the easements in order to get that money from them. So nothing is free.
Resolution 236-13, introduce ordinance 13-21 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled a bond ordinance to authorize the undertaking of streetscape improvements to Market Street from Beach Street to the Boulevard in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $687,000 to pay the cost thereof, and to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such an appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 15th, 2013, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So
Move.
Moved by Mr. Pettigano, second.
Second.
Mr. Caramagna, any discussion? Yes.
Well, this is,
No. Discussion comes after this. Yes. You can, excuse me, you can discuss it second reading.
This is a part, we gotta get grant for this, the 583,000.
Yes, I'll just repeat what I
You
said
can repeat
before.
what you just said, yeah.
But we got a grant for $584,000, and we
Right.
have to put in maybe $100,000 extra for engineering fees and everything else that we have to cover.
There gotta be that much money, because, you know why?
Soft money.
With the new apartments are next to my block, everything is new over there. They don't need to do anything else now.
No.
They just have to do the rest. I hope it will be less.
Yeah, we're going from, I think it's Pine Street, isn't it, to keep?
Beach Street to the
Beach
Boulevard.
Street,
To
To the
go
boulevard.
or beyond.
As far as the money
Yeah,
takes,
it's,
Parkway overpass, just by the dock.
After Beach Street, right there, those new apartments, they have, everything is brand new there.
Through you, Mayor, the design of the project, which will be undertaken by Boswell Engineering, they'll do an assessment of existing curb and sidewalks that may not need replacement, and they would take that into account to the design.
Yeah.
That may even get us beyond our anticipated endpoint and add a little bit more to the project once it's in design phase.
Okay, thank you.
Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamagna,
Yes,
Castiglia,
yes.
Conboy,
Yes.
Pettigano.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Coletti is absent. Motion carries. Resolution 237-13, introduce ordinance 13-22 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance amending ordinance 2-63.5 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park, entitled Outside Police Contracting Service Fee Schedule, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 15th, 2013, at 8 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing is required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Vincino, second.
Second?
Mr. Conboy, any discussion?
Yes, Mayor, I have a comment.
Okay.
Recently, the PBA requested that the governing body consider an adjustment to the current fee schedule for outside work. The PBA looked at some 33 municipalities and found that our fee structure was significantly lower. In taking up this consideration, one major concern for the council was that we didn't want to impact the residents of Elmwood Park, and I think the PBA felt the same way. The fee structure, it has three components. It's the school assignments, and the PBA is holding those constant. And then the second aspect is traffic duty, and the PBA agreed to do a two-tier system, and any traffic work that is direct Elmwood Park projects, those fees will remain unchanged and will only increase the fees for outside traffic duties, such as with PSE&G or Verizon. And the final component is security details. That's completely outside work, and we negotiated a modest increase to those fees. What we're introducing tonight is a direct result of the council working together with the PBA to come up with an appropriate fee schedule. I believe it's some 15, this is done by ordinance, and this ordinance was created some 15 years ago, and we really didn't address the PBA rates in those 15 years. I believe when I came on council some 3 or 4 years ago, we did adjust the administrative fee that comes to the borough upwards. So it was time that we did revisit this, so, thank you.
Any other discussion? Gentlemen, this ordinance, as far as I can see, needs additional negotiation between the PBA and the council in regard to the town obtaining some givebacks in our upcoming PBA contract. This is a one-way, in my estimation, giveaway. When we're increasing the amount of money the PBA and the police officers can get on overtime, we should get something back to the borough so that when we have a PBA contract coming up, we can say that we had some fair negotiation. I realize that this does not affect us directly in EP taxes or the budget, since it is paid by outside sources, such as Councilman Boncino indicated, Verizon and PSE&G, but they just increased their rates. So indirectly, we do have to pay for more. But when the police officer that we have now can earn upward of $38,000 in overtime just last year, and 2 others earned $30,000 in overtime, I think we have to have some negotiations. That's a lot of money. We have employees here who don't make that much money for a full year of their contract. The PBA, as it should be, is arguing their point. As mayor, I'm arguing the council's point and the taxpayers. I think it's fair. It isn't that, it shouldn't be they get 100% and we get zeros. Since this is only the first reading, I would suggest that some discussion take place before the final reading. And since our police cars are used constantly with the air conditioning and gas is being used, when we have some of these details, I think this council should look at increasing the administrative fee, another $5 or $10, because they're used constantly, and we're losing out on it. So I think that should be brought up for discussion, and if we can do something with that, and that's strictly up to the council if they want to increase the administrative fee. It was done shortly ago as indicated by Councilman Boncino, but there's nothing stopping us from going again and increasing our fees so that we get a fair share. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamagna,
Yes.
Castiglia,
Yes.
Conboy,
Yes.
Patagano,
Yes.
Boncino,
Yes.
Coletti is absent. Motion carries. Resolution 238-13, introduce ordinance 13-23 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled an ordinance amending ordinance 17-14 of the Code of the Borough of Elmwood Park entitled Parking Prohibited During Certain Hours on Certain Streets be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, August 15th, 2013 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time and place all persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it further resolved that the Borough Clerk be and he is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Castiglia, second. Second by Mr. Petagano on my left side of the room. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mayor, I want to ask our attorney, am I allowed to vote on this because I'm directly involved? I live on Gilbert Avenue.
He lives there.
Yeah, you can recuse yourself. There's a sufficient number of members here to vote on it.
Okay.
To the council, is everybody satisfied with that ordinance as it's written down there?
The way I am,
This is an ordinance.
but I know it will be also during the summertime where people, my neighbor, don't really
Just-
happy with, but
Just school days. It doesn't affect summer.
okay, it's okay. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first reading of an ordinance on Gilbert Avenue. Opposite the Gilbert Avenue School, presently we have some of the teachers and employees of the school parking on that street constantly during the 183, 184 days that they're in session, and the people have complained about it. So this ordinance will limit the hours so that you cannot park between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. and that'll give a respite to the homeowners there so that they can park in front of their own house. As it is now, the teachers come in early and they stay until 3:30, 4 o'clock whenever the school is out. So and there's a parking lot there, so they'll be able to park in the parking lot. Call the roll,
Oh,
please.
excuse me, Mayor. Also, this ordinance will help to have a street clean, because really,
That's right.
the broom can never make it. There's always cars over there, and the complaint is, it's always dirty there. This gives a chance at least to clean up the street.
It'll also help us with snow plowing,
And leaf cleanup.
leaf cleaning and snow plowing.
Okay, sounds good.
Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania.
Not a cruise for myself.
Yes. Oh.
Catamania.
I abstain to this, I don't want to vote.
Abstain. Castiglia.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Petagano.
Yes.
Fonsino.
Yes.
Coletti is absent.
No English.
Mayor, this evening, under the consent agenda, we have Resolution 239-13, payment of bills, Resolution 240-13, confirmation of checks, Resolution 241-13, confirmation of payroll, Resolution 242-13, approve request for a block party on East Washington Avenue, Resolution 243-13, approve request for a block party on Rudolph Avenue, Resolution 244-13, approve seasonal employees for the Department of Public Works, Resolution 245-13, approve refund of permit fee for the Building Department, Resolution 246-13, approve professional planning services for Market Street Project, Calker and Calker LLC, Resolution 247-13, renew liquor licenses for the 2013-2014 license term, Resolution 248-13, redeem third-party tax lien, Block 1505, Lot 5. Resolution 249-13, redeem third-party tax lien, Block 605, Lot 13. Resolution 250-13, redeem third-party tax lien, Block 604, Lot 4. Resolution 251-13, redeem third-party tax lien, Block 605, Lot 13. And I will say that that is duplicative because there are two different tax liens on that property. That's why you see it listed there twice. Resolution 252-13, approve renewal of the South Bergen Municipal Joint Insurance Fund. Resolution 253-13, approve license of new and used car dealership, ELRAC LLC. Resolution 254-13, appointment of rent leveling board member Phyllis Chantelier.
Would you please explain that one?
The rent leveling board member?
Yes.
We are required under state statute to have a rent leveling board member who is a landlord. This is the person from Morgan Properties who has taken over for the previous member of the rent leveling board who has moved out of town and is no longer affiliated with Morgan Properties. So this would be the replacement landlord.
Everybody understand? Thank you.
Yes.
Resolution 255-13, resolution combining several authorizations of bonds into a single issue and prescribing the details in bond form thereof for $6,830,000 in general improvement bonds dated August 1st, 2013. Resolution 256-13, resolution authorizing the publication, printing, and distribution of notice of sale and the publication of summary notice of sale and prescribing the forms thereof for $6,830,000 in general improvement bonds dated August 1st, 2013. Resolution 257-13, authorize execution of the 2012 Open Space Trust Funds for English Avenue Park. And Resolution 258-13, authorize the execution of a shared services agreement between the Borough of Elmwood Park and the County of Bergen relative to the Senior Citizen Center.
Before I call for a motion, would you please take 246-13 off the consent? I want to make a comment on that. On all the others, can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Boncino, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Petagano. Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Catamania,
Yes.
Castiglia,
Yes.
Conboy,
Yes.
Petagano.
Question,
Yes.
Mayor, you're removing this, so we're not,
It'll go on again.
This is the consent agenda
we're
without,
moving it ahead.
Right.
Okay, yes.
through you, Mayor, this is the consent agenda without Resolution 246-13.
Okay,
Petagano,
yes.
Boncino,
Yes.
and Councilman Coletti is absent. Motion carries on the consent agenda.
On the other one, may I have a motion on approving the professional planning services, please?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Boncino, second. Second by Mr. Pettigano.
Do we have a second, Mayor?
Could you repeat?
This
Well,
is a
he moved it.
This is a
We
motion.
removed it. We're moving it ahead.
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. On that particular resolution, I have a few comments on that. I don't know why we have to go around the zoning board and spend $15,000 to get that rezoned. This is an area on Market Street, the south side of Market Street. In fact, it says the north and south side of Market Street. The council wants to go back an extra 50 feet. So if there's a house in the back and the person wants to sell the house, there can be further construction on Market Street by taking that house away. I think the citizens should be notified first before we ever do anything like this, to know that this is happening and what business may be coming in. Once this is passed on tonight, and it goes to a zoning issue, anybody comes in there, the people who live in those houses will not have any question. The zoning board has already approved 2 such additions of 50 feet on Broadway, where the lot got an extra 50 feet, 2 houses were demolished, and additional parking was placed there. Everybody in the area knew about that situation. They were all notified, and they all approved, which I did also. I think it was a good move. But people should have been notified. The homeowners in the area knew what was exactly going into the business, and they weren't surprised if something came in as a commercial zone and was something they didn't want in the area. So it should go to the zoning board and not just rezone it, because, quite frankly, at some point in time, once this is done, any of those houses behind them could put a nail salon in, they could put an attorney's office in, they could put an auditor's office in, they can put anything in there, a barber shop in those houses, because now those houses are going to be in the commercial zone, and the second house, which had a buffer, doesn't have a buffer anymore. It's going to be right up against the commercial zone. I don't know why there's a necessary fuss to get this done now, so early. We have no idea what's coming in. If we look on the south side of Market Street, there's only one vacant store, and that's where Lil's is. So I don't know. The other stores are occupied or were occupied. There's a lot of transition going on there, but I don't think that should be done. Mr. Corker, our master planner, said that he wants to look at both sides, the north and the south, and indicates that they are deteriorated property. I disagree. I don't think that property is deteriorated. There's businesses in them. I call it a deteriorated piece of property is when you go to Garfield and they have a factory there that hasn't been used in 50 years, and it's just stone, and they're knocking those things down and using the brick for where they can sell them. But these aren't deteriorated buildings. And just a month or 2 ago, Mr. Corker came in and said the north side of Market Street is perfectly fine because we just did that 2 years ago as the master plan. So I don't know why we're doing all this. My other question, I mentioned it, is when are we going to notify the people that this is going to happen? And make them aware that they may be next to a business zone. It is interesting to see that if we do this, and we were told by the planner that there's going to be a 15 or 20-foot buffer between the business zone and the second house. Well, once that's done, they can come in and go to the zoning board and ask for variance that they don't want the buffer there and get it changed. So this is not as easy as it looks. I think we should communicate with the residents in that area and have them know more about it before we pass an ordinance. It's almost, and I say this because obviously I don't see anything happening, but what happens if at some point in time St. Leo's school closes and somebody wants to come in there? Those people are they should be notified before. And these people, just because it's only 50 feet, should be notified that a business is coming in. What kind of business? We can't tell you. So I think that's wrong, and that's my position on it. I hope the council would take that into consideration and review this before it's voted on, and then contact the people and tell them what's happening. If you vote on it tonight and it's a yes vote, Mr. Cork is going to be spending $15,000 to get that, and I'm saying it, I'm not going to ask the attorney, but I'm sure if we ask the attorney and the engineer for 3 blocks going back 50 feet, we'd probably get that done for nothing. Maybe the engineer will charge us, but he's on a fixed salary, and it's too little anyway. Call the roll, please.
I have a comment, Mayor, please.
Go ahead.
If you will. To be clear, we are not changing any zoning ordinances with this resolution. What we're asking our municipal planner to do a study of Market Street and what the vision of Market Street could be 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. As the mayor pointed out, our planner did a preliminary assessment, and he did find that he used the word deteriorating, but what he said was, if you don't do anything, you're at risk of it perpetuating into a more severe case for the borough. And I don't think we want that for our children and their children that are staying in town. Another thing I want to make a point about is we're not spending $15,000. We've authorized the planner to spend up to $15,000, and we've asked him to do an interim review with the governing body to see, get his preliminary assessment, where he thinks we're going. And I'm certain, it's my opinion, that this is just a plan or what I'll say is a roadmap. And before we make any changes to zoning or neighborhoods, I think we'd have a significant amount of discussions with residents that may be impacted by this if we do change anything, and certainly with our planning board and zoning boards. So this is not a solution, as the mayor described it. He made it sound like we have made a decision and we're moving forward. And what perplexes me about a lot of stuff that goes on in municipal government is it seems like we jump to a solution without a plan. And it's crystal clear that is what's going on Lee Street with the library. They have no plan, and they're about to spend $1.3 million of taxpayer money. Here we want to spend a little bit of money and develop a real plan that we all, the governing body and the residents of Elmwood Park, could get behind. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. This plan that we're talking about, it's going to go through. Why are we doing it? I don't understand why we're paying anybody to go through it. It's just 3 blocks on the south side. If those businesses are in deteriorated buildings, they should go in for a tax appeal and get the money back. They have businesses in there. They're not deteriorated. Are they old? Do they need some repair? That's up to the owner. And I'm a little frustrated. Every time we come up with something, if we spend money to fix a library, it's too much. We're not spending $1.4 million for the library. We don't have an official plan yet for a library. We're still working on it. And tonight, we're going to spend $100,000 on open space for English Avenue. Mr. Conboy, what are we putting there for $100,000?
I don't believe,
I don't want to put you on the spot, but we're going to try to get $100,000, which means open space will then be committed to give us $100,000. That's $200,000 to fix English Avenue Park. And if we want to fix the library by putting a children's room in it, that won't come out to $1 million. Okay? We're against it. We're for the ball fields. Don't tell me about ball fields. I played ball all my life. I coached, everything else. I'm all in favor of it. But I was also a school teacher. And when you have a library coming up, and we're against the library, we're against children, having the children's edition put on, it's wrong. And I get frustrated with that. Everything is the library. We've spent close to $500,000, $450,000, $500,000 on just fixing our ball fields in the last 5 years. God forbid we fix a library. Call a roll.
On roll
Hang
call.
on a minute. I just want to bring up one point. It's going to be very short. I grew up in the kind of town where it was, I guess you can call it mixed-use zones, where There was an embroidery factory across the street from my house. There was a barber shop 2 doors down from my house. I was on a residential dead-end street in North Bergen. People probably know what kind of community that is. Here we have residential zones, we have commercial zones. Some of them are mixed, where there are commercial buildings in those residential zones. That happened a long time ago. Elm Street, Chamberlain Ave. I know people that live on Chamberlain Ave right now, including my granddaughter, and the people that live in those houses are putting their houses up for sale because of the commercial buildings on their block. They've been there a long time. A commercial building comes in, takes over. Everybody remembers Timber Glass. It was a quiet organization, a quiet business, no problems. Somebody comes in and takes that building over. He's got 14 cars parked on the street for people that go to work. They take his trucks out every day. The people living across the street didn't buy their home figuring that was going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when we start moving a commercial zone into a residential area, even if it's 50 feet. I don't appreciate it. I never appreciated that embroidery factory across the street from my house, but we had to live with it. It was there when we bought the house. But this is something where we're going to be spending $15,000 on a study to see if that's going to work. I know that that's not going to work. It didn't work where I lived. It doesn't work on Chamberlain Avenue. And like I said, Elm Street, people can see what Elm Street is like with businesses mixed in with homes. I'm not in favor of it. That's all I wanted to say, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, without putting Councilman Conboy on the spot, we're going to be spending $100,000 to fix English Avenue, and we don't know what we're fixing yet. We already voted on it. I'm sure they have a decent plan, but what are we putting up there? We don't know. Call a roll, please.
On roll call on Resolution 246-13, the appointment of Quaker and Quaker. Council members Catamagna,
Well, I'm also, I own a property in that section, so I have to abstain.
Castiglia,
Is it possible to make a motion to table this?
You can make a tabling motion anytime you want.
It's possible to do that?
I just said you can make a
I'd like to make a motion to table it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Pettigano. Call a roll, please.
okay, motion to table was made by Council Member Castiglia, seconded by Patagano. On a motion to table Resolution 246-13, the appointment of Quaker and Quaker. Council Member Catamagna,
Abstain?
Castiglia,
Yes.
Conboy,
Yes.
Patagano,
Yes.
Bonsino.
No.
Councilmember Coletti is absent. Motion to table passes.
More discussion on this.
Okay. Mayor, under departmental reports, we have the municipal court report for May 2013, the building department inspection reports for April 26, 2013 through June 26, 2013, recreation department report for June 2013, and recreation commission minutes for May 20th, 2013.
Motion to receive and file? Nobody wants to receive and file?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bonsino, second? Second?
Roll call, council members Catamagna.
Yes?
Castiglia.
Yes.
Conboy.
Yes.
Patagano.
Yes.
Bonsino.
Yes.
Councilmember Coletti is absent. Motion filed. Mayor, we have applications this evening for St. Leo's Roman Catholic Church raffle application and St. Leo's Roman Catholic Church for the 50-50 raffle.
Motion approved. Mr. Conboy, you want to make that motion?
So moved. So moved. He's reading my iPad.
Since
Conboy
you
and
work,
Bonsino.
are you reading the, you guys sending messages to each other? or what?
No, his is not working.
Oh. Okay.
Mayor, I have Councilman Conboy making the motion, Councilman Bonsino seconding it.
Since Councilman Conboy works for the Archbishop and Councilman Bonsino reads at the 11 o'clock Mass,
I read 9 o'clock last week.
you would 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock last week.
Okay. If they don't approve this, they're going to be going over to the Presbyterian Church. Call the roll, please. All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered.
Mayor, that concludes my portion of the agenda.
Committee reports. Mr. Catamagna. It's
So
hot.
say thank you for passing the resolution. Mr. DeNova and Ms. DeNova be very happy to see the street clean. They talk to me every day about it. Now, I'm happy to announce to them. I have nothing else, man.
Thank you. Mr. Conboy?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to, again, thank all the parents of our community who are utilizing our summer camp this year. As I maybe mentioned already before, they're off to having an awesome year down at the recreation summer camp. Kids are all having a great time, and it will more than likely, I already know, just based on numbers, as many know, we merged our summer camps over the last 2 years. We had 2 summer camps. Now we just have the one in town. But we've even exceeded our number that we've ever had down at summer camp. So it's been a great year. Over 470 kids are taking involved in our summer camp. So thanks to all those parents who are having their kids enrolled. Also want to thank all the families that are utilizing the spray grounds. On my way down at Borough Hall tonight, I stopped, drove around the park a little bit. It was quite full. We have extended hours into the later evenings so that folks can enjoy it when they get home from work and take the kids to the spray ground park. So looks like we're on pace. Last year we broke our spray park grounds record, and looks like we'll do the same again this year. I just want a few things to mention on some of our organizations here in town. The Chamber of Commerce has been revving up again for their 5K, second annual 5K run. They're working very close with many town officials, departments. They're expanding the run this year. They have a big promotion coming up with it. Four groups of individuals from our community will be benefit from the 5K run. They're going to add several new components to it. They'll even have a mini run first thing in the morning for the children of the town to get involved as well. So it's really becoming quite a community project. So that'll be coming up in the fall. There's a lot of posters around town. So please come on out and support the 5K run. It's for many great causes. For 4 groups that will be touched by it this year in town. Upcoming also on August 6th will be National Night Out down at the Borough Field, working with our Chief Tommy Johnson of our police department. A night to come out, meet with our police department, some of our other departments that will be out there as well. If you've been catching it the last few years, it's been quite well attended. The council gets to work this year. I know, guys, you're all disappointed. It won't be Italian ices that you're doing. You'll be serving the hot dogs in the water this year. I'm following all of our health codes, Glenn, so you can pass that on we'll be following all health codes. As well as many other fun things that Italian ices will be given out as well. And it'll be a nice, fun evening to come out, and spray grounds will be open, but also a chance to talk with our police department, working together in neighborhoods, and keeping an eye out for everybody, and how we can continue to make our streets and neighborhoods safe. Just want to welcome to our community. There is a new pastor at St. Leo's in Elmwood Park, Father Michael Donovan. I want to welcome to our community, and that's it, Mayor. I'm sorry, one last thing. Just want to also thank very much one of our Chamber Council members, Chamber of Commerce members, but also someone who's been very big part of our community, BioReference. As we've mentioned here before, Councilman Castiglia has mentioned to the mayor on how they're doing a lot of things here in town with the planning board. I think they employ throughout the country well over 5,000 employees. I think there's about 3,000 just employed right here in Elmwood Park area. But also, they got very involved. They're getting more and more involved with the community. About last year or so ago, they gave a rescue vehicle, purchased a rescue vehicle and everything fully loaded for the ambulance corps. This year, what they wanted to do was promote sportsmanship. They partnered up with Elmwood Park Little League, made a donation to Elmwood Park Little League, but how the money was spent was to create a sportsmanship award. One player from every team was awarded by their team and their peers as being the sportsman of the year. And at their closing barbecue, those awards were given out by BioReference. So I want to thank our businesses for being involved. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Valencino? Thank you.
Yes, Mayor, thank you.
Excuse me.
Sure.
Excuse me. Tom, you mentioned the spray ground. I just want to mention the people here and people on TV. Elmwood Park is the first town to have a spray ground.
Really?
First town in the state of New Jersey. And now everybody, Lodi just called me the other day. They're looking for spray guns. Garfield has one. Rochelle Park is looking for. So what we did with that spray ground is so good that everybody wants one now. Anybody who hasn't been there should just go look at it. Kids get all the water they want coming down from all over, and not one bit of water do they dive into something. It just stays there and goes into the ground and is recycled. I just wanted to add that. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Mr.
I make a motion, we retire to the spray ground now.
I'll second that.
I was talking to Chief Johnson recently, and he made me aware, and he wanted me to pass along to the residents of Elmwood Park. A resident had advised him that they received in the regular snail mail, paper mail, what appeared to be a scam, where the article promised that they won a prize, and all they had to do was send a check to such and such address. So the chief wanted me to just alert the residents to keep an eye out. Typically that stuff comes through email because you could propagate that pretty quickly. But keep an eye on the regular mail and things that look suspicious. Don't be willing to part with your personal information because it could be illegitimate. We have one more position to fill in the table of organization in the police department. That's a sergeant's position. We're awaiting the results of the sergeant's test before we move forward with that. Additionally, we have a couple of members of our police force that have medical issues. We had 2 officers who just became fathers recently. Couple that with vacation, and our force is stretched some, especially in the summer months. I asked Chief Johnson as we move through the balance of the year to take a look at staffing and then come back to us with recommendations, because one thing we don't want to do is be shorthanded downstairs. And finally, just to follow up on Councilman Conboy's National Night Out status, it's the 30th anniversary of National Night Out, and it started in 1984. And it's designed as a community law enforcement partnership to raise awareness of what our law enforcement staff does for our community, how they handle different situations to keep our community safe. And as Councilman Conboy mentioned, come out on August 6th, show your support not only for our police department, but our first responders on the fire department and the ambulance corps. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Castiglia?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I'm sorry I get excited, but sometimes I get sort of Italian, maybe.
No, you never get excited.
Planning board meeting 8 days ago, a public meeting. We had an application come in for Dunkin' Donuts down on River Drive, where, what was it, Nino's? Or
Yep.
Restaurant. That has been carried to the September 4th work meeting and the September 11th public meeting. The rest of these have been approved. They were approved, like I said, 8 days ago at the last meeting. The vacant gas station on Mulner Drive, right up by the Route 80 ramp, close to the Route 80 ramp, there's going to be a Delta gas station coming in there. It seems like that's the new big gas station coming around now, Delta. Bruce's Auto Clinic on the corner of Market Street and the Boulevard. Used to be a Coastal station, then Valero, I think. I don't know where it is now. There was one owner that operated the bays, did the mechanics. There was another that pumped the gas. So one guy did take over the whole operation. So that seems like it's a much cleaner operation like that. 430 Market Street, that's the strip mall. We have had an application for a Blimpies to come in there, sandwich shop. That would be the empty store where Math and Beyond used to be. The market, we used to call it the Market Mall. I don't know what its name is now. There'll be a Blimpie coming in there. Sleepy's coming in the Elmwood Shopping Center, mattresses, also approved. And one other thing, Superior Distributors, everybody knows them over on Midland Avenue. Truck parts, warehousing stuff, DPW equipment, all they service Trenton, they service the counties. They're going to be putting in a generator because last year, of course, like everybody else experienced with Sandy, they had, I think he said 10 days where they were trying to run the operation with flashlights. So they were approved to put a generator in there, so help their business and help everybody that they serve. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Pettigano?
Thank you, Mayor. The Health Department is offering free tetanus shots. They're available for adults. You can call the Health Department at 201-796-1457, extension 604. There's also a child health conference clinic, free immunizations for infants and school children. These are people who are in need of some help as far as medical, people that don't have insurance. They can call by appointment, 201-996-8255, 2038. Also, this is the time of the year we have a real mosquito problem with these new mosquitoes in our up here in New Jersey. They're very aggressive. They will bite during the day, and it's a more likelihood that a disease can be spread by these mosquitoes since they come out during the day, not just in the evening. So any standing water, pools that are abandoned, please eliminate that from your property. It only takes a few days for these mosquitoes to develop. Especially abandoned pools. Please let the health department know because that can be a tremendous breeding ground. Also, at this time of the year, we're going to be 99 degrees tomorrow, Friday, up here in New Jersey, and children and seniors have to be very careful, stay hydrated, stay in a pool, or stay in air conditioning. It's going to be a very unhealthy day tomorrow, along with others. Hopefully it'll break over the weekend. Also, the Elmwood Park Alumni Association just retained a handicap ramp, state-of-the-art. It's transferable easily from property to property, and we'll be taking requests for this piece of equipment, and they can call 201-218-4322. This donations will be given to the Future Alumni Association, which is, or Future Alumni in the high school, and they'll be doing community service by moving this and helping the seniors. So if you want to get on that list, that would be great as soon as possible. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Just for everybody's information, and also for yourself, since you're new on the council, if anybody needs a handicap ramp, they can call up the Sheriff's Department in Bergen County, and they will send people out, prisoners out, and help construct a handicap ramp. They've been doing that for years. And
Trying to take my
I think.
business away, huh?
Excuse me?
Trying to take my business away, huh?
Well, you can work on those ramps. All you have to be is a resident of the county jail.
Well, I'll work on
And
that.
that'll take you.
I've only been a politician for 6 months.
Oh.
You qualify.
How are the Coyotes doing?
Oh, the Coyotes. They're mangy and ugly. They are still
Talk about the
around.
Coyotes, right?
Yes.
We're back on the politicians again.
We will be, hopefully we'll have signs posted in the next few weeks. The county hasn't responded well, but we're looking to other vehicles. There are also foxes near the river and deer in our woods, so it looks like our whole town is changing. Maybe we should open a zoo. I don't know.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody here to council meeting to rural Elmwood Park.
That's it. We'll be introducing...
No report from our attorney. If I have a motion to open to the public, please.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Boncino, seconded by Mr. Conboy. All in favor, opposed, so ordered. Anyone who wishes to speak, please come up to our microphone and give us your name and your address and tell us how warm it is in here.
Hi, Joe Dombrowski, 274 Lincoln Avenue here in Elmwood Park. First of all, I'd like to commend Councilman Castiglia and Mr. Pagano for working together and tabling that resolution recently. I've been sitting here listening to the council meetings as well as some of the work meetings, and today I heard it again about the library. Okay, I think it should be clear that there's more that's needed than just putting an addition of a couple of thousand square feet for children. It has to become ADA accessible, okay, which is American Disabilities Act. It's currently not. The shelves are 36 inches wide. They need to have 46, and they have to have 46 inches between the wall and the shelf. That would also need to come out of that 1.3. There's also some design issues that have to be done with the building, since they have to do, if they were to do ADA, that also, they would have to expand downstairs or some other thing. The other thing is from what I understand, they're saying that the skylights are leaking, and the air conditioning needs to be fixed. So I know that there's some talk about from some certain councilmen that they want money returned back to the town, and I'm sure there will be money returned back to the town eventually. But my feeling is this, okay? Fix what needs to be fixed, become compliant to what needs to be compliant, build something on for the children for the future that could be here for 20 years. If we were to return the money to the town today, the money would only go to reduce our taxes for 1 year. Don't hold me to the number, but if it's $1 million, it's about $33 reduction this year in taxes. Okay, $33 is about what we spend for a cup of coffee every week. Okay, this is something that could be good for the town for 20 years to come. So please, when you take into consideration this whole library situation that I hear everybody saying, bring money back to the town, don't do this, don't do that. I think we have a responsibility to the young children of this town to make sure that the library is there for them for the next 20 years. And I think we have a responsibility to the disability people with disabilities in this town, or any town, to make our building compliant to ADA. Okay, so 1.3 million, although I can't understand how we could have 1.3 million in the fund and have leaky roofs and a broken air conditioning, but fix them. Use the money, use up as much money as needed, and then whatever's left over, return back to the town. On that issue, I'm done. My question to you again, Mr. Mayor, would be on the boulevard, when you're stopped at Route 46 in the boulevard and you want to make a left-hand turn, you have the two lanes that can turn left. So many times the people who are in the left lane don't know the rule and to turn into the left lane of the highway. They normally turn and they come into the right lane of the highway. Is it possible to call the DOT and ask them to put the dotted line that pushes people to the right lane? They do it down by excuse me, it's not Bradley's anymore, it's Walmart in Saddlebrook. Coming out of there, they have the dotted line. It's done in many other places. I would just make a consideration that maybe somebody call the DOT and have them do that dotted line, because I'm telling you there's a disaster waiting to happen, and I'm sure some of the accidents that have already been there are because of that. So, that's all I ask.
Thank you.
Good point.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard? Two ladies fighting to get to the microphone.
Oh.
I've been very short all my life.
Good evening, Jean Frantic, 35 Hillman Drive. I just want to let everybody know that there will be a special meeting of the Board of Education this Tuesday night, July 23rd. We normally do not have a meeting in July. I would just like to let everyone know that part of what will be discussed is a proposed referendum for January. And I would like anybody to come who's interested and to give their input. Thank you.
May I,
should have said the
referendum?
time. Work meeting 6:30, regular meeting 8 o'clock.
Referendum on what, may I ask?
I would say building repairs,
Okay.
windows, roofs, a couple of rooms being converted to classrooms. It's approximately $10 million at this point, but it's a proposed referendum at this time, and it has to be discussed, and we would welcome input from anybody who was interested.
Thank you. Anyone else? Second Board of Education member. Citizen.
Arlene Rudman, 1 Paul Court. I would like to thank the Mayor and Council for the paving, and finally the paving of East 54th Street. Thank you very much. And I want to commend the DPW and the sanitation department, because it was very difficult to get through during the paving. And after hours, they came and they picked up everything. They picked up the garbage and the recycling, and it was very difficult because it was right after 4th of July. So there was a great deal of things to pick up. And so I really want to commend them. That was a wonderful thing. We really appreciate it. And I also want to thank, I don't know if you had, I'm sure you did, something to do with the fact that the county came and cleared up the underbrush on East 54th Street. and the brook. They cleared up the debris in the brook. My neighbors and I are very, very grateful for that. And,
When did they do that? Excuse
the
me.
undergrowth,
When did they do that?
I think that was yesterday. I'm not quite sure.
I think what you have to do is thank Mr. Castiglia and our DPW. They went in there. Getting the county to come in is very, very difficult. So they went in there, and it really wasn't anything blocking the stream, but they did clear some of the debris away.
They cleared that, and they cleared the underbrush. And, you know, I don't know if people realize it, but there's no sidewalk on East 54th Street on the east side between Gilbert and Paul Court, Washington. There are no sidewalks. That's county area. And not only does it beautify the town, but it's really a safety factor because there are a lot of pedestrians walking, and it's very, you know, walking on both sides. You have people coming this way and that way, and it's very difficult, and it's only a one-lane street going east. So I was just wondering if there's anything you could do, anything we could do to try to get a sidewalk there.
We will talk, this property belongs to Bergen County,
Right?
and we're meeting with Bergen County to talk about cleaning up the Waterworks property, all the trees and everything else.
Right.
And I'll mention that to them. I don't know where they're going. They're telling me they don't have enough money even to clean it up. You know how bad it is on East 54th Street.
So,
They indicated the last meeting we had that they were going to go back 10 feet off the boulevard and off Gilbert Avenue and clean that up. They've been doing that. Garfield was doing that before the county bought it in the year 2000. So they're not giving us anything more than we've been getting. So we're having another meeting, and I spoke to one of the freeholders. Mr. Caramagna brought it up. And maybe we get some bipartisan support from the freeholders and see if they can clean it up. Kids are going to go up on those trees that are falling down and get hurt. We're working with them, and we're not having too much success when you consider that the Overpeck Park cost almost $100 million.
million?
Yeah, $100 million. We can't get anything here. $100 million. They did tell me, I just want to get this out so the council could know, they did tell me that on Gilbert Avenue, where the ball fields are, near Spidell, they put a path through so that you can walk. Well, you better have some help because they didn't clear the path, they just cut some shrubs down, and you really have a difficult time walking. We're not getting anywhere with them. But I understand where you're going. I just would hope that the people on East 54th Street, if they're walking, would use the west side of the road where there is a sidewalk.
however, it's not always that easy because suppose you're walking a dog and somebody's coming with little children or a big Rottweiler's coming at you. You can't all walk on the west side. I mean,
If I had a big, and I see you walking your dog, well, I'm walking myself.
I know from experience.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about
But if you have a
outside.
big Rottweiler, step in the street and let the pedestrians.
I step in the street.
He's got a big German Shepherd that he goes on. You know,
I know a Rottweiler.
you step in the street
in the
and let the
street.
pedestrians use the sidewalk.
Okay.
Thank you.
But,
Unless I don't like the unless I don't like the
thank you. And
pedestrians.
I thank the DPW. We really
I'll pass it on to them, thank you.
Anyone else? Come on, it's just warming up in here now.
Yeah.
If no one else wishes to speak, I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Boncino, second by Mr. Conboy. All in favor? Opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to, just before you, did you shut it yet? Okay. This meeting is going to be on cable, channel 77, Tuesday 12 noon, Thursday 4 p.m., Friday 11 a.m., or you can watch it on our website. So please look at this meeting, and all our meetings are televised and are on the cable. So we're one of the few towns that does this, and it goes all over. Anybody who's got cable has it, and I'm ready to sign a contract, and so are the other councilmen here, where people see us in other towns and enjoy the meetings. Thank you very much for coming, and hopefully we'll have the air conditioning and everything else going tomorrow. Thank you.
When's the next meeting?